She licked her lips, and then I was about to go ask her for a number. I'm just gonna be handing out balls. You get a ball, you get a ball, you all get some balls. $150,000 check. I wish I had one of these.
That's a life insurance check. I'd rather have the person.
Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Stephanie, and today we are back with another dun-dun mukbang! Boo!
Boo!
So, honey, can you not do the boos like that? So today I have decided you guys really loved the bingo game. So I'm actually gonna be playing bingo with my mouth and my fiance. I have a bingo machine. I literally spent like $100 trying to buy this bingo machine. I was so freaking excited. Originally, I wanted to buy it for game night because my sister's coming over in 3 weeks. And so I was like, oh, it'll be so much fun if we all play bingo together. And then I realized that the bingo tennis ping pong ball type of things that they have all the ping pong balls that they have the numbers on, they're pretty much the same size as cheese balls. Don't ask me why I realized this realization.
As well as a lot of other balls too. No, I'm talking about like meatballs, I'm talking about fish balls.
Munchkins.
Yeah.
The donut holes, not like when you call your dog a munchkin. And so I've decided to pretty much clean the entire bingo machine and throw in 40-something cheese balls. And these are not just any cheese balls. These are nuclear mac and cheese balls. Well, technically some of them are nuclear. It's bingo. It's a game of chance, okay? And I'm just gonna spin it. I haven't spun it yet. I don't know if it works.
Like it's not gonna work. But... Oh my goodness. Oh my god. Oh my god.
Oh my god.
What are you doing?
Oh, it came out.
Holy cow.
It came out. It came out.
Oh my god. Can you not be so aggressive?
Okay. So that one.
You just have to make sure something goes into that cup.
There.
Is something in that cup?
Yeah. And it fell out. I'm covered in mac and cheese dust.
Are you serious?
Little bit, yeah. I'm gonna eat one. Sorry. Love you. So I've just doused it in spicy ketchup.
So what do I do? Can I see what's inside?
Oh my god.
Wow.
Hold on. I got you, babe.
Thank you. Now what? You have to flip it out. Yes, there we go. There
Okay,
we go.
Ready, guys? Woo! That's a lot of crumbs for one fucking honey. You got the nuclear one.
What the fuck?
By the way, this is a Trader Joe's pizza. It looks like shit. Sorry. Is it good?
Oh, too much nuclear.
I just
Woo!
What?
It's already pretty good.
You know what I'm learning
This is
right
mac
now?
and cheese inside.
Yeah. Girl. So
Oh god.
these are the Trader Joe's mac and cheese fried balls, but they're like discontinued. I think we got the last 4 bags and they said that they're not coming back. I'm gonna move these while I cut the pizza. And I get the scissors and the tongue, and they said that they're not coming back even though they do so well. They're like, yeah, a lot of people look for them. A lot of people buy them. These are the last 4 bags we will ever have in this store. There we go. There's one. So good.
Yeah.
You know,
Oh my god, there we go.
I had a bite of one of the cheese balls, and I was thinking, holy cow, this spicy ketchup is so spicy, right?
Uh-huh.
And then I realized I got a nuclear one.
There we go.
There we go.
There we go.
Oh, too many. Here you go.
is so cool.
There's one for you. I'm gonna put the nuclear one on the side
They're so cool.
and finish it in a second. Lesson learned. I will not be putting very crummy shit in here. I didn't even think about that. Please don't be triggered by our pizza cutting techniques. I believe it is the Asian way. That's what I heard.
Korean way?
Mm-hmm. But this is not even real pizza. So technically, I am not doing disservice to Italian pizza.
I like that. You don't like that?
I mean, it tastes like grocery store pizza.
Really? Mm-hmm. I really like it.
It's a little salty.
I love it.
Really?
Yep, that's it. Very good. Thank you.
I'm just gonna be handing out balls. You get a ball. You get a ball. You all get some balls. No, that's inappropriate.
So this is bingo machine?
Yeah.
You know, in China, this is what old school lottery system is. Yeah?
Yeah.
So every week you
The
roll out.
Powerball.
Yes, yes,
Yeah. Powerball. The big
So
lottery.
bingo and Powerball, they're similar.
Yeah.
They're the same.
No.
They're
No.
similar. The machine is the same.
Very similar.
Makes sense now.
Right?
You know, growing up, my grandma is a huge lottery.
Fiend.
Buys them every week.
Really?
Yeah.
My
And
mom
then-
only bought it when we had dreams about certain things. Anyways, continue.
Did you ever win?
No. No, I think we won like a couple $100. Okay.
We never really won.
Um,
And then there's a lot of conspiracy apparently, like how it's rigged. Have you heard of those? Like rigged lottery
like in China or in the States?
in China. I
I've
don't know
never
about
heard of
states.
it.
I'm sure it's rigged here too.
Honey, you have to be careful what you say about government entities. What do you mean?
You never heard of those?
No, you think the Chinese one is rigged? How?
I don't know.
Because if it's like this, I think the whole purpose of this is that everyone can see the numbers on the balls.
That's what I thought too. But then somebody said there's like magnets inside the ball that they want to suck out, maybe. I don't know. What do I know? All I know is we never won.
And so you think it's rigged? You sound salty. Is it the pizza?
Yeah. How's it, egg girl?
It's okay.
It's okay?
Yeah.
Told you we should have ate the mango sticky rice egg roll.
Yeah, and there's like a mango sticky rice egg roll that we bought. And I was gonna make it, but I was like, I don't feel like it goes with today's theme.
You suck at this. Wow, you suck at this, huh?
Mm.
Whoa, that is so cool.
That was cool, huh? Today, I'm just gonna jump right into today's stories because today's stories is a collection of Let's Not Meet stories. And if you've never browsed the Reddit section of Let's Not Meet, it's a subreddit. And essentially, it consists of stories of people who, it's almost like, what was that one thing on Craigslist? Misconnections. So misconnections on Craigslist used to be like a personal section where you would write about, hey, I was at, the Santa Monica freaking supermarket today and I saw this girl wearing a blue dress with red shoes and I thought she was beautiful and she looked at me and we made strong eye contact and then she licked her lips and then I was about to go ask her for a number but then I got distracted by the tomatoes that were on sale. So girl, if you out there and you see this, DM me. And then they'll usually write like their personal appearance, like I was wearing like the Tom Ford suit with the Lamborghini parked outside, I'm just kidding. They write like I was wearing a blue hoodie, and so essentially that's called misconnections, right?
And they find each other?
I don't think that there has been many cases, but I think when the internet was smaller they might have, right?
When
Like-
the internet's smaller, then less people are using them.
Oh really?
But
Well,
now that
I thought
everybody
that-
has access to
Oh, but I thought when the internet's smaller, like there's not as many websites to use, so then more people will go to the same website.
it, technically it should be easier today. Because like on Facebook, how many degrees of separation?
I heard 6.
Cool.
Cool! Let's Not Not Meet on Reddit is essentially stories of people sharing instances that they've had throughout their lives. So a lot of these times the Redditors, the original posters, otherwise known as OP, will be maybe like 5 years old at the time, 10 years old at the time. And the purpose of sharing this is not so that they can meet the person, whereas misconnections on Craigslist was like literally a misconnection, let's connect, you know? But Let's Not Meet is more about the purpose of telling this story, you know, having a conversation, also getting something off your chest, but also let's really not ever freaking meet. And other people to be like, wow, now I know about this person, I probably don't want to meet them either. And it's all filled with links to my videos. I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
Just very scary, either creepy, scary, or really, really negative experiences people have had with strangers, right?
They real stories?
So it's supposed to be a place for real stories, and a lot of them are verified. However, it does, you know, it's up in the air. You know.
Okay, cool. So these are like scary stories.
Mm-hmm.
I like it. Man, Reddit is just a place for creepy shit, huh?
I love it. She whispered creepily.
Are you still discovering like weird stuff on Reddit today?
Mm-hmm.
Like things that you never thought you knew existed?
Mm-hmm.
Like different topics?
Mm-hmm. See, but it's like what they say. I'm discovering weird things on Reddit, right?
Mm-hmm.
But now my tolerance for weird is through the roof. So what you might see on Reddit and be like, that's weird, I'll see it and be like, oh yeah, I saw that. You know? So like my tolerance for weird is very different now because Reddit has ruined me. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And so has being a true crime junkie. Actually, no. That's the opposite. I've gotten more paranoid about specific things.
Mm-hmm.
But other things I'm like less sensitive to. It's a weird experience. Anyways, let's continue on. You're not here for me. So there's this girl. Let's call her by the name of Whitney. Now, this is one of those scary stories where you just never want to be in Whitney's position. Whitney at this time, she was living in a rural area and she was going to college. And this was the summer before her college, her senior year, right? She's about to enter her senior year.
There we have it. 2 half-bitten egg rolls.
Class. Also, my butt's itchy because everything on the menu today is so crunchy crispy that just constant flakes are falling onto me. She's living in this rural area and her brother at the time was visiting her apartment and it had just been his birthday. For his birthday, all that he wanted from all of his friends and family was a pair of, night goggles, night vision goggles, right? And the way that these work, and I've heard so many like stories about them online, is that they're actually very, very accurate. So you can see lots of things moving around. Like you can see things that you normally would never have seen. And so one day she gets really, really bored. It was the weekend and she's like, you know, it's summertime. I just want to do something. And her brother had left his night vision goggles at her apartment and she looks at them and she goes, I'm gonna take them for a spit. She grabs the goggles, she gets into her car, alone by the way, middle of the night, and she just had this really intense feeling that she wanted to see a deer. And she wanted to see this deer in its natural habitat, which is primarily at night, right? And she just wanted to see the glory, see the beauty of Mother Nature and all of its animals in the woods.
She's looking to find a deer. At night. Why? That's so creepy.
She doesn't have like a wooded area right in her backyard. She lives in an apartment complex, but not too far from her apartment building. She was actually there just last night and she had gone with a friend at nighttime, what's known as like this nature preserve. Now this is kind of pertinent to the story in a little bit, right? And so she gets into her car and she drives from the apartment to this nature preserve. Now this area, this little parked area, has a parking lot, has a trail, has all of that, has a wooded area, and she just wanted to go and see what a deer would look like at night. And she had just gone last night and she didn't run into anybody. There was nobody else there when she was with her friend. So what are the chances someone would be here tonight? So as she's driving, she pulls into the lot. It's a dimly lit lot. There's nobody else there, no other cars. And she goes, see, I knew it. I'm all good. I'm all safe. There's no shady business going on in here. And by the way, I got night vision goggles, right? And so for some peculiar reason, she decided that she wasn't going to put them immediately on when she got out the car. Not even when she just stepped out the car. She decided, I'm just going to hold them and I'm going to go into the middle of the wooded area that I like. Because she didn't really truly know like what it would truly look like in a wooded area, and so I guess she just really wanted to trust her own eyes first. I'm kind of like that. At this point, right, she decides to bypass the park closes at 10 sign and go straight into the woods. She goes off trail and she goes straight into the goddamn woods. Now, there's something very peculiar about this nature preserve, and the first thing that you need to know is that it's literally called a nature preserve, which means there is no hunting allowed on the premises, not even deer hunting. And in places like, there's like rural areas, and I believe there's certain places, probably in California, definitely in Georgia, where you can go deer hunting because the deer population is massively intense, right? I mean, there's a lot of controversy around it. I've never been deer hunting. I would never want my kids to go deer hunting. But I also do know a lot of people who grew up in families who they learn exactly how to kill painlessly, and also they, don't just waste. It's a thing,
consume,
right?
yeah.
They consume. And also deer hunting is supposed to help the environment, technically, kind of. If they overpopulate, then other things happen to other species and other animals. I think like there's like a whole debate around it, right? I don't want to get involved. I know nothing about deer or deer hunting, okay? Or hunting in general.
The only thing I know is I heard in Australia, crabs are overpopulating.
Crabs? I heard that too because you showed me a picture of all the crabs washing up to the shore, and then you go, I think the Chinese are going to go in soon. And I go,
no, actually, you know what else was overpopulating?
What?
Oyster was overpopulating. I know. I read an article written by this blogger. They planned a weekend trip. They drove all the way to a beach. You have to go during sunset time because the tide, you can just see oysters. So they just grab a bucket and start throwing oyster into the bucket. They spend hours just doing that. At one point, they're like, okay, let's just try it. So they bought a little hammer, just opened it, and start eating it.
And how was it?
This is the most delicious, fresh oyster.
And so she bypasses all of that. In the nature preserve, there is no hunting allowed. Now, this is very, very pertinent to the entirety of this story, right? And so whatever deer that live there, they're going to stay living there. There is no human interaction going on, and they're just free to be deer and do what deer do. And so she goes in and she decides, okay, I'm just going to walk into the woods until there's kind of like an empty area. I'm going to find a little log to sit on. I'm going to sit down and I'm going to collect my thoughts and just really enjoy this just like nighttime breeze, being alone, solidarity, and put on my night vision goggles. Walking, and obviously she's gonna hear rustling here and there behind her, and she's just like, probably a deer that I'm looking for, right? And so she keeps on walking, and she finally finds a log to sit down on, and she sits down and puts on the night vision goggles, and she's like, whoa, I should have put these on earlier because it's amazing. Everything looks so bright and clear, and she starts looking around, and it's like when you go into VR for the first time and you're like, just going like this, like holding on to it, like, oh my gosh, what is that? What is that, right? And she said she saw some chipmunks that she didn't see before sitting down, like in the corner behind a tree. She saw a chipmunk. She saw some squirrels. She sees all of this, that she didn't see any of them while she was walking through the woods. And she's like, holy shit. This is amazing, right? So she gets up and she starts walking around a little bit. Now she's like, okay, I do want to be a little bit careful because my brain is overstimulated right now. And she doesn't see any deer. And so she's like, well, I feel like even if I keep walking, maybe it's the noise, right? The noise of me crunching on the leaves that the deer are going to hear and go, oh, that's a human. I shouldn't approach. And so she goes, okay, this is what I'm going to do. So she finds this big old tree in the corner and she goes, I'm going to climb that motherfucker. I'm going to climb that tree, okay? And so she starts climbing the tree with her night vision goggles on, and she finds this massive branch to sit on, right?
Why is she so weird? What is still going on?
I know.
She sounds super suspicious.
You think she sounds suspicious?
Okay, continue.
She climbs up onto this tree, right? And she's sitting there and she's surveying the woods. She's looking at everything going on. And she sees something rustling, right? And she looks closely with her night vision goggles and she sees that it's not a deer, nor is it a chipmunk or a squirrel or anything that you wouldn't be alarmed in the woods. She sees that it's a full-grown man walking. But is he just leisurely walking as she was? Was he leisurely testing out some night vision goggles that his brother left in his apartment? No, neither of those. He was walking in a very specific manner. It's almost stealthy, would you say? Hiding behind from tree to tree, kind of looking around, jumping behind the next tree, kind of looking around, and jumping into the next tree, looking around, closer and closer and closer.
Is he looking for her?
And it seemed that the direction that he was coming in from was the direction in which she came, in which her car was parked. But she thought nothing of it because, that is where the parking lot is. But why is he hiding behind the trees, right? It didn't make sense to her because, well, for one, let's say when you're in the woods and you want to hide, you're usually hiding from someone. So she starts looking behind. Is there someone behind him that he has to hide from? No, but he keeps looking in front. So then she goes, maybe he lost someone. Maybe he's looking for someone. So she turns around on this tree branch, rustling some leaves, and she looks over this way, and she doesn't see anybody. So she goes, who is he looking for? That's so strange, right?
Yeah.
And he keeps bouncing closer and closer. And at this point, she sees that he's holding something. She's like, what is he holding, right? And he bounces closer and closer, that he's a big knife in his hand. And she goes, but why, right? First of all, it's not deer hunting season. And second of all, this is a nature preserve. You cannot hunt deer here, even if it was the season. Third of all, if you do hunt deer, these are very timid animals. They will never be close enough to you where you can use a knife. And so she goes, that's just so strange. And then she realized, I think I've seen him before. Oh my gosh. And she had remembered as she was driving into the park, there was a car just right behind her that was tailing her so closely. And she thought, why is this car tailing me in the middle of the night? How annoying, right? And she took a right turn into the parking lot, and he continued forward. So she didn't think anything of it. And it looked like a man. Wearing dark shirt, dark clothing, right? He probably had U-turned, saw that her car was parked, and came back. And so he starts getting closer and closer and closer until he's almost right beneath her. He looks around and he goes, oh my God, a bear! Right underneath her tree, and he starts looking around, right? And it's almost like a frantic, right? Like,
Where the hell? Like, where?
and so she's holding her breath. She's trying to make sure she doesn't rustle any leaves,
Does
literally.
she know that he's coming for her at this point?
I think she understands what's
she's
going
like,
on, you know?
he's following her.
Yeah, and so then all of a sudden, he's, a little bit further away. She hears him go
Fuck it.
and just leaves back where he came from. And so she's kind of sitting there just so paralyzed with fear that she can't move. She doesn't want to move because even if she gets back to her car, what if he's waiting for her there? She's just so paranoid that she decides, okay, I'm just going to stick it out till the morning sun comes up, right? And so she pretty much sleeps overnight in this little wooded area on this motherfucking tree like Katniss Everdeen in goddamn Hunger Games, right? And she crawls down and she makes it to her car. And as she's walking and once the sun's coming up, you start to really think, God, nighttime does crazy things to your brain. Like, he definitely wasn't looking for me. He probably was looking for, something he lost, or maybe somebody else, or maybe he lost a dog and he's like bringing this as a self-defense tool. I probably wouldn't go into the woods with nothing, which I did today because I'm an idiota. So she's like, there's so many reasons why he could have been here. Why would he be looking for me? So then she walks out and she gets to her car, and her car had been completely keyed by what looked like a knife and a rock thrown at her windshield. It did seem like that guy had come into the woods, followed her car after she had parked in the parking garage or the parking lot area of this park, and had just wanted to do some very illegal things that night.
But for what reasons will he make all those damage to the car? That doesn't make any sense.
Because he's pissed that he couldn't get to do what he wanted to do.
This is real? This is fake?
So it seems that it's real.
But who the heck goes into the wood just for shits and giggles?
Yeah, but then again, a lot of people are saying, like, when you're growing up in like more rural areas, it's a lot more common
To go watch deer at night.
maybe not like super common. Another instance, right, that somebody experienced it was also in the woods, but this happened to be in Australia, and he was actually doing the hashtag van life, right? And so he decided to get into a van and just backpack in van life all throughout Australia, right before it was even YouTube popular. And so he's going from, you know, spot to spot to spot to spot, and one day he's just so tired. Usually, like when you're van lifing, he said it's very difficult, especially in places with Australia, because you can really only park at rest stops, gas stations, and some just shady areas where there's not a lot of cars and it's probably like a dirt path. And so he said, I was so sleepy. It was so dangerous for me to drive that I decided to just park in a very empty area where there was just tons of trees. Honestly, it wasn't even a road. It wasn't even like a parking lot, right? Parked the car there and pulled the curtains, because you can have curtains in a van, right?
Yeah.
Closed them all and started going to sleep. Now, in the middle of the night, he started hearing this very heavy banging on the door. Now, it wasn't like a I'm gonna rob you bang, but it goes knock, knock, knock.
Get out! It's the police! Open up! Open up! It's the police!
And so his first thing was, first of all, adrenaline. Oh my God, I just woke up and now the police are here. What the heck? And then his second thing is, fuck, like I parked where I'm not supposed to park. Like they're gonna tow me. They're gonna give me a ticket, right?
Yeah.
And he's about to open the door and be like, officer, I'm so sorry. But then he's like, wait a second.
Yeah.
There's literally nobody here.
Yeah.
Why would a random cop car doing rounds and doing patrols just be like, let me go down this dirt path and make sure nothing's happening in this random dirt path?
Yeah.
It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
And so then he hides back down and he slowly looks through the curtain crack, because his curtain wasn't completely closed on one side. And he sees a shadowy figure at the door. And he also sees the car that the shadowy figure came from. And it wasn't a police vehicle. And so he goes, oh my gosh, is this undercover, right? An undercover cop coming for me?
Yeah.
And so then he's like, what the hell is going on? And then all of a sudden, the man starts knocking again.
Open up! I said, open up! Police!
And so he goes, okay, I have to do this, right? And so his adrenaline's pumping, and he goes, get the fuck away from my van. I have a gun, and I'm radioing the police. And he said the minute that he said that, the guy that was knocking on his door so aggressively suddenly backed off. All of a sudden, some dude comes running out of the bushes, and they get into the car and drive away.
So there were two dudes.
Two dudes.
They were trying to rob him.
Probably. Yeah. And steal his van or something. Yeah.
That's very scary.
Very scary stuff. Did you know these days the newest trend,
Yeah.
because I keep up with burglary trends, right,
Yeah.
is a lot of the times carjackers will try to steal your car, like while you're trying to get into it. So like if you are at nighttime, maybe in an unsupervised parking lot,
Talking about
right?
the honey thing.
No. Like you're in an unsupervised parking lot, right? That doesn't have a lot of security cameras, right? And you're about to put in your groceries, and you know it's late at night, right? And so you put in your groceries, and then they'll come and they'll like make you give them your keys and all of that nonsense, right? They'll take your phone, they'll take everything, okay? And they'll get into your car, and then from there, because GPSs usually just have a home button, they'll click home, and typically they'll drive to your home, and typically if you live alone, they'll just break into it and steal all your shit. Because now you have no phone. How are you gonna get home? You gotta go in, call someone to call you an Uber to do this. It's gonna take you time, so that's like almost a guaranteed. We
So-
know at least this person won't be home.
So the best thing to do immediately is go inside and call the cops to go to your house.
Yeah. So you should have cops go to your house and cops come to you. Yeah.
A lot of people go straight to your house.
Yeah, that's what I was reading from, like, inmates who are convicted burglars share burglary tips to give back to the public. That's a thing. But that reminds me of the story that I heard where a lot of valet dudes were selling people's home addresses, very wealthy people's home addresses. I don't know how accurate that'll be.
Yeah. I feel like, I don't think they are the best people to access address.
Yeah.
Versus if you work in a bank.
Yeah.
You can literally just access anybody's address.
Oh my god, I read on a Reddit today, I fucked up. I think it was a tweet or something, and it was a bank teller, and she was like, today I fucked up because this woman walked in and she was depositing a check for $150,000, right? And so I was like, just trying to make some small talk with her, and I was like, oh, well, how's your day? And she's like, oh, just trying to deposit this check, and she was being very nice, right? And she's like, okay, right? She takes the check, $150,000. So she's like, wow, $150,000 check. I wish I had one of these. And the lady looks at her and goes,
That's a life insurance check. I'd rather have the person.
And she was like,
Oh my god.
would you like your receipt printed or emailed? Yeah.
Oh my gosh, she
She really f***ed up. So at least you know someone f***ed up better than us today with my spinning ball of cheese. You know what? Don't even hate, because the bingo ball will be back, but it'll be back badder than ever. And we're going to put something in here that's not crusty and dusty. So I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. I'm so sorry about the dogs. A lot of you guys seem to love them and have accepted them into your lives. And a lot of you guys freaking hate their snoring. So I'm really conflicted.
I hate their snoring.
Don't be rude. So I love you guys, and I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Let me know in the comments, what would you guys have done in all of these scenarios, especially the bank teller scenario. And do you have your own let's not meet story of this one random stranger where you're like, God damn, let's never meet? Leave it in the comments, and I love you guys so much, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye.